Okay, so here we've got a question which says explain the formation of a meander. And just like if we were answering a question on Oxbow Lake, whether it asks for a diagram or not, my advice to you is always draw a diagram. It's always so much easier to explain things that way. So you've got a diagram there that I've sketched out, and with a meander question, you can pretty much use one diagram. If you want, some people use two and show a small bend to start with and getting bigger, but I think you can just use it in one. So the first point that we want to make, as you can see here from mine, is it's very similar to an oxbow lake, that rivers can erode laterally and erosion is greatest at point A. And I've labelled point A on there a couple of times because that's where the fastest flowing water is. If I label that now on the picture, that point is going to be over here, and deposition occurs at B because this is where the slowest water is. So again, if I label that on my diagram, B is here, so that's where the slowest water is going to be. And we'll talk about a bit more about that in a moment. Again, I've started off with kind of just an overview, and now we're going to go into a logical sequence. So meanders or bends, remember that's just another word for a bend in geography, are created through the erosional processes of hydraulic action. Remember, hydraulic action is air being forced into sort of cracks by the water, so it's pressure. And abrasion, remember abrasion is when rocks hit and sediment and rocks hit the sides and the base of the river, making it wider, wearing away the river banks and the base. Because this mostly happens on the outside of the bend, and that's logical, because it's the fastest river, it's got more energy, and therefore you would expect the erosional processes to be bigger where there's more energy, and it's going to create a river cliff. So you can see, if I try and circle for you, I'll do that in blue, this here is the river cliff, and you can see basically actually the river's trying to erode this way. Okay, and on my diagram here, that river cliff, the one that I've just circled, would kind of be here, and the river's trying to erode backwards that way, just like in coasts. Okay, if we go on to our next point, the slower waters on the inside bend. So again, it's just the complete opposite. Because there's less energy now, you can see that all of this material here, again labelled in blue, has been deposited because of the slow water. And then if I label that on mine, you can see where that diagram is. And because it hasn't got any energy, it all gets deposited. And then this process continues, and what happens is the meander gets bigger, and you can see kind of really everything is shifting outwards, and then on this one it'll be shifting there, and you can see then the meander starts to become sort of bigger or kind of bendier, and the bend gets larger.